What if the key to humanity's future among the stars isn't faster spaceships or closer planets, but the ability to pause time itself, at least for the human body? Cryogenic sleep technology, once the stuff of science fiction, is beginning to step into the realm of possibility. Imagine traveling not for hours or days, but for decades, all while in a state of suspended animation, only to awaken light years away on a brand new world. In this video, we'll uncover the science behind cryogenic sleep, how it could transform interstellar travel, and the monumental challenges scientists are racing to overcome. From the promise of limitless exploration to the hurdles of preserving human life in the harsh void of space, we're diving into a groundbreaking technology that could redefine our place in the cosmos. Cryogenic sleep, also known as suspended animation, is the process of putting a human body into a deep, inactive state by drastically lowering its temperature. The idea may sound like something straight out of a science fiction movie, but the principles behind it are rooted in real science. At its core, cryogenic sleep aims to slow down all biological processes like metabolism, heart rate, and breathing almost to a standstill. By doing this, the body requires barely any energy, oxygen, or resources to survive, potentially enabling humans to endure the long, resource-scarce journeys of interstellar travel. The key to this process lies in the way ultra-low temperatures affect the body at a molecular level. Cooling the body slows down chemical reactions, essentially hitting the brakes on cellular activity. This prevents the natural wear and tear that occurs during normal biological processes. However, dropping the body's temperature too quickly or too drastically can cause ice crystals to form inside cells, which could rupture their delicate membranes. To get around this, researchers are studying cryoprotectants, special substances that act like antifreeze for the body. These chemicals replace water in cells, preventing ice from forming and reducing the risk of cellular damage during freezing. In today's world, cryogenic technology is already being used in some fascinating ways. For example, doctors use cryopreservation techniques to store vital organs like hearts and kidneys for transplantation. Cooling these organs significantly extends their viability, giving surgeons more time to perform life-saving operations. Scientists are also experimenting with freezing human embryos and even certain types of tissue to preserve them for future use. While these advancements are on a much smaller scale than putting an entire person into suspended animation, they offer valuable insights into how we might one day apply similar principles to human space travel. Interestingly, much of today's research into cryogenic sleep is inspired by the natural world. Certain animals, like Arctic ground squirrels and wood frogs, can lower their body temperatures and metabolism to survive harsh conditions. These creatures enter states similar to hibernation, where their biological processes nearly stop without causing long-term harm. Studying how they naturally protect their cells from freezing could unlock crucial strategies to make cryogenic sleep safe for humans. The concept of cryogenic sleep isn't just scientific, it's deeply tied to the dreams of exploring new worlds. Decades ago, science fiction movies like 2001: A Space Odyssey and novels like Arthur C. Clarke's Rendezvous with Rama imagined humans traveling vast distances in suspended animation to colonize new planets or explore the farthest reaches of space. These works of fiction inspired generations of scientists to consider, what if these ideas could actually work? And as technology advances, we're beginning to see the line between imagination and reality blur. By combining breakthroughs in medical cryopreservation with a deeper understanding of molecular biology, scientists are slowly but surely developing the building blocks for human cryogenic sleep. While we're still far from freezing astronauts for decades-long space journeys, the progress being made today is setting the stage for a revolution in how we think about interstellar travel. Cryogenic sleep isn't just about making space exploration possible. It's about pushing the boundaries of what human life can endure. And as we'll explore next, the challenges of adapting these technologies to the vast and hostile environment of space bring a whole new set of questions. The vast distances between stars present one of the greatest challenges to interstellar travel. Even with the fastest spacecraft we can currently imagine, reaching a distant exoplanet could take decades or even centuries. This raises an important question. Why can't we simply keep the crew awake for the duration of these journeys? At first glance, it might seem plausible, but the reality is far more complex, and the obstacles are both biological and psychological. Let's start with the human body. Living in a microgravity environment for extended periods wreaks havoc on the body's systems. Astronauts on the International Space Station, who typically spend just 6 months in orbit, have to follow rigorous exercise routines to combat muscle atrophy and bone density loss. Without the constant pull of gravity, muscles weaken and bones become brittle, sometimes losing up to 1% of their density per month. Now, imagine this happening over the course of decades or even a century. The toll on the human body would be catastrophic, rendering even the most determined explorer physically incapable of functioning upon arrival. Then there's the issue of radiation exposure. Deep space is bathed in cosmic rays and solar radiation, far more intense than what we experience on Earth, thanks to our planet's protective atmosphere and magnetic field. Over a long-duration mission, this radiation can damage DNA, increase cancer risk, and lead to other health problems like cognitive decline. Spacecraft can only provide so much shielding, and even state-of-the-art materials may not fully protect a crew during a journey spanning decades. But it's not just the body that faces challenges. Prolonged space travel can also push the human mind to its limits. Spending years in the confined, isolated environment of a spacecraft can take a serious psychological toll. Feelings of loneliness, monotony, and isolation, combined with the knowledge that Earth and help are light years away, could lead to severe mental health issues. Even on short-term missions, astronauts undergo intensive psychological training to prepare for the challenges of space. Extending this to a multi-decade journey would raise questions about how to maintain a stable and functioning crew. That's where cryogenic sleep offers a compelling solution. By placing astronauts in a state of suspended animation, their bodies could bypass the physiological effects of microgravity, essentially pausing the deterioration of muscles and bone. With a body in a near-hibernative state, metabolic activity slows significantly, reducing the crew's vulnerability to radiation since cellular damage from cosmic rays is tied to active biological processes. On top of that, cryogenic sleep could minimize the psychological burden of long-term isolation. If you're asleep for the majority of the journey, you wouldn't consciously endure the endless passing of time. There's also a practical advantage to consider. Keeping astronauts awake for decades would require a staggering amount of resources: oxygen, food, water, all of which are finite and must be carefully managed in space. Cryogenic sleep could drastically cut down on the need for these supplies by reducing the biological requirements of the crew to an absolute minimum. This makes it a much more efficient option for interstellar travel, especially when we're talking about missions to planets light years away. Of course, implementing cryogenic sleep is far from simple. It comes with its own set of challenges, both technological and ethical. How do we ensure that the human body can safely enter and exit such a state without causing long-term harm? Could suspended animation protect against all risks, or would there still be unforeseen effects? These are the questions scientists and engineers are working to answer. As we move forward, we'll explore the groundbreaking technologies being developed to turn this vision into reality. From advanced cooling systems to prevent cellular damage to innovations in protective shielding and life support, researchers are uncovering the science needed to make cryogenic sleep not just a theoretical concept, but a practical tool for humanity's journey to the stars. At the heart of cryogenic sleep technology lies one of the most critical components, the cryogenic chamber. These chambers represent the intersection of advanced engineering, biology, and space science, designed to ensure that a human being can successfully enter and remain in a state of suspended animation for years, potentially even decades. But what exactly goes into creating such a complex and life-sustaining system? First and foremost, the primary function of a cryogenic chamber is to maintain an ultra-precise, low-temperature environment. The process of lowering the body's temperature and keeping it stable is incredibly delicate. A slight miscalculation could cause cells to freeze and rupture or lead to metabolic activity restarting at unsafe levels. To achieve this, modern designs rely on closed-loop cryogenic systems. These systems use specialized cryocoolers, highly efficient refrigeration units, to maintain stable temperatures, often close to the freezing point of water or even colder without fluctuations. A closed-loop system continuously monitors and adjusts the environment within the chamber, ensuring that the temperature remains within a safe range and that no external contaminants can interfere. But temperature control is just one piece of the puzzle. Cryogenic chambers must also monitor and regulate the body's essential biological functions, even at an extremely reduced state. Automated life support systems are embedded throughout the chamber, capable of measuring heart rate, oxygen levels, and other vital signs in real time. These systems are critical for preventing complications like tissue hypoxia or cardiovascular failure during the suspension process. Should any parameter deviate from the acceptable range, the chamber is designed to initiate corrective actions or, in emergency cases, safely awaken the individual. This level of automation presents one of the most significant engineering challenges. How do you design a system that can operate flawlessly without human intervention for decades? Redundancy becomes key here. Cryogenic chambers are equipped with multiple backup systems for everything from temperature control to biophysical monitoring, ensuring that even if one component fails, the system as a whole can continue to function. The physical structure of the chamber itself also requires cutting-edge materials and innovative engineering to survive the extreme conditions of space. A cryogenic chamber must not only sustain an optimal internal environment, but also withstand the harsh external realities of interstellar travel. In space, temperatures can swing hundreds of degrees depending on exposure to sunlight or the cold void of space, and materials must remain stable under these conditions. Engineers are turning to advanced composites and alloys with high thermal resistance to address this issue. On top of that, the chamber needs to be shielded against cosmic radiation, which can damage both the occupant and the electronics crucial for maintaining the system. Multi-layered insulation and radiation-proof coatings are being explored as solutions to this challenge. Interestingly, the complexity of these chambers is driving advancements in artificial intelligence and robotics. Since astronauts in cryogenic sleep would be unable to respond to emergencies, chambers require AI systems capable of diagnosing and addressing problems autonomously. For example, if the chamber detects signs of cellular stress or an equipment malfunction, it must evaluate the situation, make the appropriate adjustments, and even call for external intervention if necessary. These capabilities could represent a significant leap forward in self-sustaining technologies for long-term space exploration. The development of cryogenic chambers has spurred a global race among nations and private companies alike. Space agencies like NASA and the European Space Agency are investing heavily in research, while private companies such as SpaceX and Blue Origin see cryogenic sleep as a key technology for colonizing Mars and beyond. Collaborative projects are also popping up, with research institutions and biotech firms joining forces to tackle the biological and engineering hurdles. Each entity brings unique expertise, whether it's in materials science, software engineering, or biomedical advancements, fueling competition and accelerating progress. While we're still in the early stages of building fully functional cryogenic chambers for human use, the progress being made is undeniable. These intricate systems represent more than just hardware. They embody humanity's ingenuity and ambition to explore the stars. But as promising as this technology is, there are still many unanswered questions about its feasibility, safety, and long-term impact. And that's what makes this field so fascinating. It's not just about solving engineering problems, it's about redefining what it means to journey through space. Making cryogenic sleep a reality requires groundbreaking advancements across multiple disciplines, each tackling a unique piece of the puzzle. Scientists in biology, materials science, and medicine are striving to address the critical challenges involved with safely suspending and reawakening human life, an endeavor that edges closer to possibility with each passing year. Recent research has delivered fascinating breakthroughs, giving us fresh insights into the mechanisms that could one day enable humans to embark on interstellar journeys in a state of suspended animation. One of the most exciting areas of study involves cryoprotective agents, specialized compounds designed to prevent the formation of ice crystals within the body's cells during the freezing process. When water inside cells freezes, it expands, potentially rupturing the cell's delicate membrane. To combat this, researchers are exploring substances like glycerol and dimethyl sulfoxide, which replace water in cells and reduce the risk of freezing damage. These agents essentially act as a biological antifreeze, enabling cells to survive extremely low temperatures without harm. Recently, scientists have begun evaluating next-generation synthetic cryoprotectants that offer even greater precision, reducing toxicity and increasing effectiveness. Such developments bring us closer to the goal of safely lowering body temperatures for extended periods. Another major breakthrough comes from studies into reversible metabolic suspension. Unlike full freezing, which stops biological activity entirely, this approach focuses on drastically slowing the body's natural processes, placing it into a hibernation-like state. Research into induced torpor, a natural phenomenon observed in hibernating animals, has provided valuable clues. For example, Arctic ground squirrels are capable of reducing their body temperature and metabolic rate to near zero levels for months at a time, surviving harsh winters without food or water. Inspired by this, researchers are developing methods to replicate similar effects in humans. In a recent study, scientists successfully induced a torpor-like state in lab animals using targeted cooling methods and metabolic inhibitors. While we're still far from achieving this in humans, the results demonstrate the feasibility of dramatically slowing biological activity as a pathway to suspended animation. Leading the charge in these efforts are organizations like NASA and private companies such as SpaceX. NASA, for instance, has been funding developments in suspended animation technology as part of its long-term goal to send humans to Mars and beyond. Their interest lies not only in the potential to reduce the physical burden on astronauts, but also in the practical advantages of conserving resources like food, oxygen, and water. Private companies, meanwhile, bring a sense of urgency and innovation to the field. SpaceX, with its goal of colonizing Mars, sees cryogenic sleep as a critical component for enabling sustainable interplanetary travel. These industry leaders are working in close partnership with top universities and biotech firms, fostering collaboration that allows experts across disciplines to pool their knowledge. The academic world is also making significant contributions. Institutions like MIT and Stanford are at the forefront of exploring the biochemical pathways that must be controlled to achieve suspended animation. Meanwhile, biotechnology companies are experimenting with nanotechnology to create advanced delivery systems for cryoprotective agents and metabolic suppressors. These systems could allow for precise, targeted application, minimizing risks and maximizing effectiveness. Such collaborations bridge the gap between theoretical research and practical application, bringing us closer to prototypes for human cryogenic chambers. However, as promising as these breakthroughs are, they raise new ethical and philosophical questions. Should we push the limits of human biology to such extremes? If cryogenic sleep becomes possible, who should have access to this technology, and how might it shape humanity's future? These are weighty considerations that we'll dive into shortly, but for now, it's clear that today's pioneers are laying the scientific and technological foundation for tomorrow's explorers. Cryogenic sleep, once a dream linked to distant stars, is now emerging as a tangible solution to the challenges of interstellar travel, one discovery at a time. The prospect of cryogenic sleep offers humanity a thrilling opportunity to journey farther than ever before, but it also forces us to grapple with deep ethical and human questions. Are we truly prepared to place individuals into a state of suspended animation for years, potentially decades, knowing the risks involved? How do we safeguard not just their physical survival, but their mental well-being and autonomy as they awaken in an entirely unfamiliar future? These are not challenges that can be addressed purely by science and engineering. They require us to carefully consider the ethical and philosophical implications of this revolutionary technology. One of the first and most pressing concerns is informed consent. To what extent can someone truly consent to such a procedure when the risks are so poorly understood? While scientists and engineers are making strides in perfecting cryogenic technology, the long-term consequences on the human body and mind remain largely hypothetical. Would astronauts or participants be provided with a full understanding of the potential dangers, such as failure to awaken, unforeseen medical complications, or even long-term cognitive impairment? And even with informed consent, should individuals have the ability to make such irreversible decisions about their own lives? Another significant consideration is the risk of adverse outcomes. While the technology may eventually be refined to a point where the probability of complications is minimized, no system is ever truly fail-proof. What happens if equipment malfunctions during the voyage, or if the spacecraft experiences damage that compromises the cryogenic chambers? The individuals in suspension would have no way of intervening, leaving their fate entirely in the hands of technology and those responsible for its maintenance. Additionally, even if the system works perfectly, there's the lingering uncertainty of how the human body might respond to being reawakened after decades of dormancy. Could there be muscle atrophy or neural degradation that scientists hadn't accounted for? Could individuals experience a loss of memory or a fundamental change in their sense of self? Beyond the physical risks, there's the question of psychological impact. Imagine waking up in an entirely different time, perhaps on a distant planet, removed from everything and everyone you've ever known. The passage of time, though dormant for the voyager, would profoundly alter the world and the people left behind. Loved ones might no longer be alive. Societies, cultures, even languages could change dramatically. The abrupt dislocation from one's past life could lead to feelings of alienation, despair, or a loss of identity. How do we prepare someone to face that kind of emotional shock? Would mental health support infrastructure even exist in this new, distant environment? On a broader level, cryogenic sleep challenges our very definition of life. If an individual's biological processes are paused for decades, are they considered alive during that period? Does this technology redefine what it means to be human? Furthermore, what kind of rights should an individual in suspended animation have? For instance, would they still be considered an active member of society, or would they be treated as someone temporarily removed from the living population? These abstract but important questions highlight how cryogenic sleep forces us to reconsider the frameworks by which we define human existence. The societal implications are equally profound. Cryogenic sleep, at least initially, is likely to be an expensive and highly specialized technology. This raises concerns about inequality and access. Who gets to use it? Will it be reserved only for elite astronauts and wealthy individuals, further widening the gap between socioeconomic classes? Or will it eventually become a widespread tool accessible to all, perhaps even altering the way we think about aging and human lifespan? These questions touch on issues of fairness and opportunity that will need to be addressed as the technology evolves. Ultimately, as we push closer to implementing cryogenic sleep, the safety protocols and ethical frameworks we design will be just as important as the technology itself. Ensuring that individuals are fully informed of the risks, that safeguards are in place to protect both their bodies and minds, and that society reflects on the broader implications of this leap forward will determine whether cryogenic sleep truly benefits humanity or becomes a cautionary tale of science racing ahead of ethics. These challenges underscore the need for a multidisciplinary approach involving not just scientists and engineers, but ethicists, psychologists, and lawmakers. As we transition into the next section, we'll explore how these protocols and safeguards are being developed to confront the challenges of cryogenic sleep head-on, ensuring that this groundbreaking technology is as safe and humane as possible. While cryogenic sleep holds incredible promise for interstellar travel, it's not without significant technical and safety challenges. Even as scientists and engineers make strides in refining the technology, the risks associated with placing a human body into long-term suspended animation are daunting. What happens if something goes wrong during the decades-long journey? How do we ensure that the systems maintaining life in such a fragile state remain fully functional without the possibility of human intervention? Let's dive into the major obstacles and explore the innovative solutions being developed to overcome them. One of the most obvious yet critical risks is the potential for a power failure in the cryogenic chamber system. Maintaining a stable, low-temperature environment over such an extended period requires uninterrupted energy supply and precise environmental control. A power outage, even for a brief moment, could cause temperature levels to rise dangerously, potentially damaging cells and tissues beyond recovery. To address this, engineers are designing redundant power systems, similar to those used in life-critical terrestrial systems like hospitals and airplanes. These would include multiple backup generators, battery reserves, and even autonomous energy harvesting mechanisms, such as solar arrays capable of maintaining essential operations. The idea is to create a fail-safe system where one failure doesn't result in catastrophe, ensuring the chamber's core functions remain intact. Another significant challenge is the process of safely reanimating the human body. While the concept of slowing down metabolic processes is being explored, restarting them poses an entirely separate set of issues. Warming the body must occur at a controlled rate to avoid tissue damage or shock to critical organs. For example, if blood flow resumes too quickly, it could overwhelm the heart and circulatory system, leading to potentially fatal complications. Researchers are experimenting with advanced warming techniques that use mechanical devices to gradually circulate warm fluids and reintroduce oxygen at a pace the body can handle. Additionally, the use of nanoparticles that can deliver heat directly and uniformly to specific tissues during the warming process is showing promise in laboratory studies. These techniques aim to ensure that the reanimation process is as safe and efficient as the initial cooling phase. Then there's the biological uncertainty of long-term metabolic suspension. Although scientists are drawing inspiration from nature, such as hibernating animals, we cannot assume the human body will behave in the same way. Extended periods of inactivity might lead to unforeseen consequences, such as cellular degradation, immune system compromise, or even neurological changes upon reawakening. Could the brain retain all its cognitive functions, or might prolonged inactivity lead to memory loss or changes in personality? To mitigate these risks, ongoing research is focused on understanding how cells and organs react to extreme cooling and inactivity, using advanced simulation models and experimental trials with human tissues. These studies aim to predict and prevent long-term complications before they occur. Monitoring all these factors, temperature, metabolism, vital signs over a long-duration mission is another formidable challenge. That's where advancements in artificial intelligence and automation come into play. AI systems are being developed to serve as the guardians of the cryogenic chambers, capable of continuously analyzing data in real time, predicting potential failures, and taking corrective actions instantly. For example, if the AI detects even slight deviations in temperature or signs of cellular stress, it could adjust the chamber's settings or, in extreme cases, initiate an emergency reanimation. These systems could also communicate with the spacecraft's central controls, allowing onboard or even Earth-based teams to intervene remotely if needed. Thanks to these advancements, the chambers could operate independently for decades, providing an additional layer of security for human occupants. Despite these innovations, one of the fundamental questions remains: what happens when a challenge arises that technology cannot address? For many, the idea of placing human lives entirely in the hands of machines is unsettling. This is why redundant safety mechanisms, both technological and procedural, are at the forefront of current designs. Multiple systems working in parallel, coupled with regular diagnostic checks, would reduce the likelihood of catastrophic failure. Some even propose a hybrid approach where a small portion of the crew remains awake in shifts to monitor and maintain the chambers, though this solution introduces new logistical challenges such as resource allocation and psychological strain for those awake. Even with these solutions, cryogenic sleep technology is still in its infancy. Successfully addressing these engineering and safety challenges will be the key to unlocking its full potential. But once these obstacles are overcome, the possibilities are extraordinary. The ability to place humans into suspended animation could make missions to distant worlds, ones that were previously unimaginable, not just feasible but practical. In the next section, we'll explore how cryogenic sleep might transform space exploration and what missions to the farthest reaches of the galaxy could look like once this revolutionary technology becomes a reality. While cryogenic sleep technology is often discussed in the context of interstellar travel, its potential applications here on Earth could be just as transformative. Beyond bridging the vast distances of space, suspended animation offers groundbreaking possibilities in medicine, biotechnology, and even economics. Let's explore how cryogenic sleep could reshape life on our planet and impact humanity in ways we're only beginning to imagine. One of the most exciting applications lies in emergency medicine. Imagine a traumatic accident in a remote location where medical help is hours or even days away. With current technology, paramedics and doctors face an unforgiving race against time to stabilize a patient. Cryogenic sleep could offer a game-changing solution. By temporarily placing the patient in a state of metabolic suspension, medical teams could essentially hit the pause button on life-threatening conditions, drastically slowing down processes like blood loss, organ failure, or hypoxia. This would buy precious time to transport the patient to a hospital and allow for more effective treatment, significantly increasing survival rates. In fact, early research into emergency preservation and resuscitation, or EPR, is already underway. By cooling patients who have experienced cardiac arrest or severe trauma to near freezing temperatures, doctors have been able to extend the window of opportunity for life-saving surgeries. While this is not full cryogenic sleep, it offers a glimpse of how this technology might one day revolutionize critical care. Another potential application is in the treatment of terminal illnesses. Picture this: someone diagnosed with a disease that today has no cure, but in 10 or 20 years, scientists might develop a breakthrough treatment. With cryogenic sleep, it could be possible to preserve patients until that future arrives. This idea, often thought of as science fiction, aligns closely with ongoing advancements in biotechnology and personalized medicine. Storing patients in suspended animation could create a bridge between current medical limitations and future innovations, offering new hope to those facing life-ending diagnoses. While still a distant goal, the development of safe, reversible cryogenic sleep could redefine the concept of healthcare timelines and extend the possibilities of human recovery. Cryogenic sleep could also transform organ transplantation. Today, donated organs have a very short window of viability. Hearts and livers, for example, must be transplanted within hours. Cryopreservation techniques are already being refined to extend these time limits, but true suspended animation could offer an even greater solution: the ability to keep organs viable for weeks, months, or even years. This could eliminate the urgent need for local matches and allow for global networks of organ sharing, saving countless lives. And perhaps even more revolutionary, the same principles could one day apply to preserving entire bodies for future medical use or even extending human lifespans. Economically, cryogenic sleep technology has the potential to spark entirely new industries. One obvious area is biotech innovation. Developing the materials, processes, and techniques required for safe suspended animation would push the boundaries of multiple scientific fields, creating valuable spin-offs in pharmaceuticals, nanotechnology, and even artificial intelligence. Companies specializing in cryogenic solutions could become leaders in a rapidly growing market, much like how the space industry has catalyzed advancements in materials science and communications technology. Additionally, as cryogenic sleep becomes more refined, we could see the emergence of services like long-term body preservation for individuals who want to defer aging or medical care to a more advanced future. While controversial, such services could generate significant economic activity and debate. Then there's the potential for space tourism. The ability to place people in suspended animation could open up previously unimaginable travel experiences. Want to visit a distant moon, orbit a gas giant, or even sleep through a leisurely voyage to Mars? Cryogenic sleep could make these experiences more accessible to the average person by eliminating many of the logistical challenges, such as food and oxygen requirements, associated with long-term space travel. This could transform space tourism from a privilege for the elite to an industry accessible to many. Ultimately, the applications of cryogenic sleep extend far beyond the stars. From saving lives in emergencies to unlocking new medical frontiers and creating entirely new economic opportunities, this technology could profoundly shape life here on Earth. But as with its use in space, the implementation of cryogenic sleep on our planet also raises profound ethical and societal questions. Who should have access to this kind of technology? How do we ensure it's used responsibly? And what does it mean for humanity to be able to pause life itself? These are questions we must consider as we move closer to making cryogenic sleep a reality. As we continue to explore this remarkable innovation, we'll see how its potential to transform both Earth and the stars reflects humanity's deepest aspirations and boldest ambitions. Cryogenic sleep isn't just a tool for surviving long journeys, it's a gateway to an entirely new chapter of human existence. For the first time in history, we're envisioning a future where interstellar travel isn't just theoretical but achievable. This technology has the potential to take us beyond the boundaries of our solar system, to worlds orbiting distant stars, planets that exist within the so-called habitable zone, where conditions might support life as we know it. Imagine the possibilities, entire generations of explorers awakening on alien worlds, ready to begin new chapters of human civilization. Cryogenic sleep could transform humanity from a species bound to a single planet into cosmic pioneers. The search for exoplanets has already given us tantalizing glimpses of where we might go. Using advanced telescopes like the James Webb Space Telescope, astronomers have identified thousands of planets orbiting other stars, some with characteristics remarkably similar to Earth. These exoplanets could become future homes for humanity, offering us the opportunity to build thriving communities on entirely new worlds. However, most of these planets are light years away, untouchable with our current methods of travel. Cryogenic sleep bridges that gap by enabling humans to endure journeys that span decades or even centuries. This technology turns distant exoplanets from unreachable dreams into concrete destinations. But the vision goes far beyond simply arriving at new worlds. Cryogenic sleep is a cornerstone of interstellar colonization, where humanity establishes self-sustaining civilizations across the galaxy. Once we reach these distant planets, the real challenge begins, transforming alien landscapes into livable environments. This would require terraforming technologies, resource extraction, and sustainable ecosystems. Cryogenic sleep could play a vital role here too. Imagine crews arriving in waves, awakened at specific intervals to contribute their skills and expertise to building these civilizations. The first wave might construct life support systems, while the next could focus on agriculture, infrastructure, and scientific research. With cryogenic sleep, the timeline for colonization expands dramatically, allowing successive generations of pioneers to collaborate on ambitious, long-term projects. This technology also opens the door to exploring deeper space than ever before. Picture humanity traveling far beyond the habitable zone, venturing into regions of the galaxy where no Earth-like planets exist. There, we might establish habitats on moons, asteroids, or even free-floating spacecraft. Cryogenic sleep would make these missions possible by eliminating the need for constant resource consumption, allowing us to carry small, efficient crews across the cosmos. Over time, we could create a network of human settlements stretching across multiple star systems, connected by trade, communication, and shared purpose. Perhaps one of the most profound implications of cryogenic sleep is its potential to unite humanity in the pursuit of a shared goal. The scale of interstellar exploration is staggering. It's not the work of a single nation or organization. Success would require unprecedented collaboration among countries, industries, and cultures. Together, we would need to pool resources, share knowledge, and overcome immense technical challenges to ensure the survival and prosperity of those venturing into the unknown. The quest to become a multi-planetary species could inspire a sense of global unity, reminding us of what we're capable of when we work together. In a way, cryogenic sleep is about more than just traveling to other planets. It's about rediscovering the best of what makes us human, our adaptability, resilience, and creativity. As we look forward, cryogenic sleep also challenges us to redefine exploration itself. For most of history, exploration has focused on relatively short voyages, whether it was crossing oceans or reaching the moon. But interstellar travel introduces a completely new concept, journeys where the explorers who depart are not the ones who arrive. Cryogenic sleep blurs the line between present and future, allowing humanity to think on timescales much longer than a single lifetime. It's a humbling reminder that exploration isn't just about individual achievement, it's a collective, multi-generational effort. In the end, cryogenic sleep signals more than the ability to survive long journeys. It embodies humanity's greatest aspirations. It's the key to reaching new worlds, establishing thriving civilizations, and ensuring our species' survival far into the future. More than anything, it challenges us to imagine and create a future where the stars are no longer out of reach. As we stand on the brink of a new era in space exploration, cryogenic sleep technology represents one of humanity's most daring and imaginative pursuits. It's a concept that is equal parts scientific challenge and philosophical marvel, a blend of cutting-edge biology, engineering, and a deep desire to explore beyond the familiar. This emerging field could be the key to unlocking interstellar travel, offering us the opportunity to venture beyond our solar system, settle distant worlds, and secure humanity's place among the stars. Yet, as we marvel at its potential, we must also confront the immense challenges it presents, both technical and ethical. The journey to perfect cryogenic sleep technology is far from straightforward. The science behind suspending human life, maintaining it in the vacuum of space, and reawakening it decades or even centuries later is fraught with complexity. From preventing cellular damage to ensuring the reliability of autonomous systems that operate without human intervention, every step requires incredible precision and innovation. And beyond the science, there are the broader questions. Can we accept the risks involved? Should this technology be accessible to all or reserved for a select few? And perhaps most thought-provoking of all, how might it change our understanding of life, time, and what it means to be human? Despite the uncertainties, cryogenic sleep taps into something deeply ingrained in our nature, the drive to explore, to innovate, and to push the boundaries of what's possible. It invites us to think on scales we've never considered before, distances measured in light years and timelines that span generations. For the first time, we have a tool that could allow us to truly explore the cosmos, not within the span of a single human lifetime, but as part of a collective journey that advances the legacy of our species. It's not just about reaching new worlds, it's about reshaping our sense of purpose and possibility. Just imagine what this could mean for future generations. What would it feel like to wake up on a distant planet, to step out onto alien soil as part of humanity's first wave of interstellar settlers? What new cultures, new technologies, and new ways of life might arise among the stars? Yet, even as we imagine these exhilarating futures, we must reflect on the responsibilities that come with wielding such immense power. Cryogenic sleep, like all transformative technologies, is a tool. It's up to us to ensure it's used wisely and ethically. Ultimately, the pursuit of cryogenic sleep technology is about more than science or engineering. It's about how we choose to shape the future. As we grapple with its possibilities, we're reminded of our capacity for ingenuity and resilience, but also of the importance of foresight and collaboration. This technology isn't just a leap toward the stars, it's a reflection of who we are as a species and the kind of legacy we want to leave behind. And now we invite you to be part of the conversation. What excites you most about the potential of cryogenic sleep? What ethical questions or scientific challenges do you think are the most important to address? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective adds to this global dialogue about the future of humanity. And if you're fascinated by the innovations shaping tomorrow, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Together, we'll continue exploring the groundbreaking technologies that will define the next frontier. Until next time, keep imagining, keep questioning, and keep looking to the stars.